PR Connections Radio presents. This podcast is brought to you by Envision U. Envision U has discovered how to impact spirit, body, and soul with spray technology in just 30 seconds. With Envision U, you can achieve optimal health and start living the life you have always dreamed of. Use the promo code envisionu.com/VernDix to take control of your health naturally.
Hello, and my name is Penny Tindall, and I am the local Summerlin publisher of Desert Foothills Living. I will be hosting this podcast called The Professionals on the first and third Wednesday of every month. Join me as I interview local business owners, community leaders, and nonprofits and hear their story on how they thrive in Las Vegas, what's up in Las Vegas, and just some friendly conversation. So join me on the podcast, The Professionals. Penny Tindall, thanks again. Have a great day. Hello, Las Vegas. You are talking to Penny Tindall here on my podcast called The Professionals, where I meet with a local business owner or nonprofit. Today, we have Dawn. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. I cannot hear.
I'm doing well. Are you doing okay?
Vegas, and Happy New Year. I'll say it again just in case. Hello, Las Vegas, and Happy New Year. You have just met with us here at the podcast called The Professionals, where I interview local business owners, nonprofits, and we just have a friendly conversation. Today in the studio, I'm glad to see Miss Dawn, and she is going to talk about the most exciting topic there is, insurance. Go ahead and say hello, Dawn, and give us the name of your business and a snapshot of what you do for our local Las Vegas community.
Well, first of all, Penny, thank you very much for having me on the podcast. I appreciate that. And yes, everybody doesn't want to talk about insurance until either they've been in an accident or the house is burned down. And I've sat with clients in both situations here in Las Vegas. I've been doing this for a long time. I Insure for You is a brainchild that I've had for 20 years. And we're an independent agency that we can provide coverages with multiple carriers and find what fits our clients best for their needs and their pocketbook. Also, our business clients also have the same ability.
So I cannot hear her again.
PR Connections Radio presents.
Hello, and my name is Penny Tindall, and I am the local Summerlin publisher of Desert Foothills Living. I will be hosting this podcast called The Professionals on the first and third Wednesday of every month. Join me as I interview local business owners, community leaders, and nonprofits and hear their story on how they thrive in Las Vegas, what's up in Las Vegas, and just some friendly conversation. So join me on the podcast, The Professionals. Penny Tindall, thanks again. Have a great day. Hello. It's Penny Tindall. Happy New Year. It's been a long time, and I am glad to say I have a guest in the studio. So please meet Dawn. And Dawn, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your business.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me, Miss Penny. My name is Dawn Fisler. I am with I Insure for You, and that's what we do. We insure busy professionals like yourself.
I love that. So I know that most of my folks know that I love to network, And I like to find community partners that not only are transactional, but want to educate the local public. And so, why don't you talk about why it is so important for people to maybe, check what are they actually insured and how you can help them with that?
Thank you very much. Yes, most people are accustomed to getting an insurance policy once a year. They look at it, they open it, they look at it, and they basically file it. They don't read through it. Many changes have happened within the last pre-COVID versus post-COVID. A lot of changes have occurred, and coverages have changed. Years ago, it used to be guaranteed replacement cost on the building, guaranteed replacement cost on your contents, and they gave away coverage at a very low rate. Fast forward after the California fires and a lot more issues with claims, people need to start paying a little bit more attention because every year their contracts can change. That's why there's 152 pages behind that declaration page.
Wow. And that is so true because I had a minor fender bender. And because, some cars have cameras on them and, and everything is more, high tech. So a bumper used to be a metal bumper and now it has computer in there, right? So everything seems to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah. And, those cameras that you're talking about, side impact collision warning systems, all of those have to now be calibrated. Once it's not just the fact of repairing it, it is now also calibration of the equipment, integration with the computer module, making sure that the computer module is talking to it so it doesn't tell you that somebody's there and there's nobody there. So all of those technology changes have shifted costs for insurance on cars dramatically.
Yes, and I know that with regards to all these electronic cars, the Teslas and everything, they're also very dangerous, right? If you hit one, it's like hitting a semi or something. Somebody had reported to me. Is that true?
When you hit a vehicle that has batteries in it, it doesn't matter whether it's a Honda Leaf or a Toyota Prius or a Tesla or any other electric vehicle, those batteries are very dense and they're very heavy. A lot of times cars will get totaled because the electronic system within it gets damaged. The body damage may not be very much. The impact may not have been very hard, but the battery system shorts out.
Understood. Now, I know you also talk about liability as a business owner. And
Yes.
of course, my podcast is for those small businesses, medium and large. And a lot of times, like we all shop for price, but price is not the factor when you have a business. You need to protect the business. So why don't you talk about like your questions that you ask a small business so they can make sure that they are insured enough to protect themselves, right?
Yes. What I do is I actually have a intake questionnaire. How are they structured? How long they've been in business? Tell me what your day-to-day is like, because it paints a picture of, every now and then my assistant will get in a car and she'll go over to the mail, drop off the mail and pick up lunch for us. And sometimes drop off proposals over to client's place. And there's coverages and endorsements that need to go on those business policies to cover those exposures. And if you don't have it, general liability is not a one size fit all. It'd be like saying I bought 5 wheels and it's red. One's a steering wheel. Most people don't understand that. And 4 wheels that it could have been a fire truck, could have been a pickup truck, could have been a Mini Cooper, could have been an electronic Tesla. We don't know. They're all 5 wheels and have engines in them. One size does not fit every business. And that's where a good professional comes in and helps you understand. You may need to have 2 different types of policies for the same type of business. And you may be running another business under the same name that should have its own insurance also.
Yes, I think that's very important because a lot of people are using virtual assistants. They're doing a lot of streamline. So a lot of times they have, like you said, maybe a part-time person being a runner, and they don't think about it, or doing, remote work somewhere else. So what would you say if somebody is opening up a business or they've been in business for about a year and they might want to check, are they covered? Because that's a big deal.
Yes, it is. And people that have been in business for either 1, 2, or 3 years, oftentimes what you told the agent at the time was something that would allow you to get into the what you call it, into your office space, but it doesn't cover you accurately for what you need. You need to find out whether you have hired non-owned auto, whether your business property is going to be picked up, your inventory, because general liability does not pick up inventory unless you've designated that to do it. So just the liability, somebody coming in, slipping and falling, is covered.
Right.
And with that being said, that right there is going to be an issue with a claim that you think is going to be covered is not going to be covered the way you expected it.
Yes, I know that you had mentioned the California fires, and I know that you had done a presentation. A lot of these people thought they were protected and they weren't. So why don't you talk about stuff like that may be unforeseen things that you as the insurance expert can kind of, alert, the new homeowners or the new owners. Did you know that kind of stuff that, the regular layman like myself would not know to think about?
Thank you very much. That's a great question. And I want to apply this knowledge. You buy a home and you bought it for $600,000. 2 years later, that house is worth $800,000 to sell, but it's going to cost you $900,000 to replace it. You need to make sure that you have the coverage that's going to be replacement costs plus an endorsement to extend that coverage. If you don't have the endorsement on the policy, you don't have the extension. And with these California fires, many people didn't look at their policies for 15 or 20 years, and they were underinsured. Has the cost of a sheet of plywood gone up? It used to be,
of course,
$12. Now a sheet of plywood for a roof that is a 1-inch thick sheet of plywood is over $57 a sheet. How many will take to cover your roof? And
so almost almost five times some of the basic items that would need to be done. The cost, the supplies could be 4 to 5 times more, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Wow.
And think about tariffs. How much is each nail going to cost? Before, when your house was built, they were 3 cents a piece. Now, with either cost of manufacturing has gone up, that same 3-cent nail is 9 cents. Please tell me how many nails you have in your house. So we can calculate out what the cost is to rebuild. There are programs that you can get online, and you will be shocked to find out the cost to rebuild is very different than the sales price of a home.
Yes, I think that makes a lot of sense. Dealing with a lot of real estate, someone said, I just put this side casita, it cost me $100,000. Well, now it's not $100,000, because first of all, it's a unique addition to your property, but did they even assure it? You know what I mean? So, I see a lot of times on MLS, a lot of extra buildings or extensions, and it's not even noted in the tax star and everything like that. So if somebody wants to upgrade their home, is that important for them to talk to their licensed insurance agent just so they can make sure what they're doing to their home is protected? Of course, they're supposed to use a general contractor, but what do you say if I said, I just had another baby? Besides, that would never happen, but and I'd like to add another room to my home. Is that something that you could have a conversation with them about, we need to add some more coverage to your building?
Absolutely, because while it's being constructed, under construction coverage needs to be notified. But how many square feet are they going to actually put in? Is it going to be upstairs and downstairs? So certain elements are going to go into how much is this whole project going to cost? When are you going to have it completed? You can't start the project in January and finish it 2 years from now, because that's going to cause a problem with your insurance.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know that during COVID, I saw a lot of people buying new homes, and then they did not do their landscaping until just recently, because a lot of HOAs gave them about 5 years to get it done. And so in my Summerlin neighborhoods, all of a sudden you see all these people doing a lot of landscaping, a lot of finishing touches, because they're past the deadline and they're getting fined daily. But they also need to pay attention to the insurance when they add the pools and the casitas and everything like that. So, it sounds like you're really passionate about educating the public. I kind of like to hear your history on how you got involved in insurance, because I know you've been doing it for a long time. So I want them to know that you are truly a Las Vegas expert. So why don't you do a little shout out on yourself about how you got involved in all your education, and why you have passion to make sure people are covered.
Thank you very much for that opportunity. I just wanted to let you know, I graduated from UNLV and I was an entrepreneur by the age of 12. So I had small businesses from the age of 12 on, and one of them happened to be house sitting. I used to take care of people's animals. And every year this gentleman would call me and I'd take care of some special needs animals. And I was going to school, graduated, and he says, I'd like you to meet some people. I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Graduated from UNLV, have a bachelor's in science. Then started in my next career, which is this one, in insurance. And I have a degree in insurance. I have an LUTCF, and I have some of my CLU classes put down. So I've been in this arena for a very long time. I have been through houses that have burned down with Chagall paintings in it. I have had people calling me from the side of the road after a rollover accident, calling me and not their spouse. I have had people's houses flooded. I have had a car go through a house that condemned the house. I have had phone calls made where their garage caught on fire and took out half the house in Green Valley. And I had a house just recently have a microburst that ripped off on a 2-story house, their air conditioning and gas unit, and flung it in.
What is a microburst? I don't know what that is.
You don't know what a microburst is?
No, I don't know what it is. No.
A microburst is when you have, similar to me, I guess you'd say tornado, where you have atmospheric pressure come down on one area, one small area. My client's house was underneath it. There was plywood out in the middle of the road. His air conditioning unit got ripped off the top of his house, slung into his neighbor's house, had gas leaking into the whole neighborhood. The roof got torn off all the way down to the drywall. He had daylight inside. So that claim right now is sitting at about $184,000 up in Spring Valley.
In Green Valley. So that happened during
Spring Valley.
Where is it? Oh, Spring Valley. So, but Spring Valley, Las Vegas.
Yes.
That is crazy. But, we were just talking about the winds a few weeks ago, and I told them it's surprising that we have so many crazy windstorms that really it just comes out of, like you said, a burst. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Wow. That is incredible. And I'm sure that he wasn't thinking anything like that was going to happen. So you're kind of like a 911 call. When shit hits the fan, they're going to call you and say, hey, Dawn, please tell me I'm insured.
No, I get this call. What do I do now? I mean, just think of this. You went to work today wearing whatever you're wearing today. Your house burns down. Somebody was able to save the dog and the cat, and that's about it. You are now homeless. The overwhelming feeling, I've sat with people that have lost their house when firemen are still putting out the smolders and embers. I've shown up at the people's house. I have told them a plan. They are so overwhelmed. This poor lady, after the house burned down, all she could think about was, I got salmon at Sam's Club, and is the salmon going to be okay? And I'm like, there's daylight in the upstairs. The upstairs is in the part of downstairs, and this house is pretty well 100% going to be raised. And the only thing she could focus on that made sense to her at the time, I wonder if the salmon's going to be okay. Your mind does strange things. And I just played along with it. I said, well, at least it's smoked salmon. And we kind of chuckled.
Oh, that's cute. I love that.
And we moved on from there. And I said, this is what's going to happen. I've already got this on an emergency standby. Somebody should be by tomorrow. I said, get yourself a hotel room. Keep all your receipts. Better yet, let me call a friend. I have somebody in hospitality that can get you a night for you and the cat. Everything will be okay. Take what you can. If you have to buy stuff like socks, underwear, T-shirts, personal hygiene, go ahead and buy it and just keep receipts. Everything's going to be okay. And they were just a renter.
Yes. Renter's insurance is very important. I hear a lot of crazy stories, maybe the pipes, flooded from the upstairs to the downstairs, and now all of a sudden that renter has nowhere to go. And a lot of times property management takes time. And, like your mom would always tell you, make sure you brush your teeth, put, your clean underwear and bra on. It actually makes a lot of sense because you just never know when the unexpected happens, right?
That's right.
So that's pretty incredible. So a lot of times you probably feel really good. I mean, you hear them at the worst or they're very concerned. But when is the best time for the business to come and talk to you and say, hey, Dawn, I'm paying this amount. I know they're going to be going up. I mean, that's usually when people shop for insurance. But
3 months before, not 3 days.
3 months before.
3 months before. And the reason you want to do that is it depends on the carrier. Sometimes if you've had a claim, they want to have more information about that claim. Who, what, when, where, how did it happen. They may request a list of, from the adjuster, what was changed or updated. They may ask for photos. 3 days before does not give you very much wiggle room to do anything from beginning to end. So when you deal with people with homes and even cars, I had a gentleman that had multiple cars in multiple states, and somebody had stolen his car, but it was still a claim that they had him on as him as being the driver, even though it was a thefted car. We had to get the police report to show that it was stolen. It was not him as the driver. And that takes 1 to 3 days with any kind of underwriting. Now, it used to be 1 to 3 days. It's probably like 3 to 5 days. You'd think that automation has occurred, but downsizing has happened. So you just get put in a queue, and all your agent can do sometimes is pick up the phone, send an email saying, hey, where are we at this? Have you reviewed it? No, I'm going to look at it tomorrow. And so you tell the client probably not tomorrow, the next day after that, we'll have some determination on.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, hurry to wait, right? Hurry to make the claim and let you know what's going on. But then while they're waiting, they can talk to you so they get a true live scenario. So that's always important. And the great thing about you, Dawn, is you have a very calm demeanor. So if I called and said, oh, my kitchen just flooded, I feel very confident that you're going to be like, okay, Penny, it's okay, So I think that when we're always in a panic, it's good to have someone that has a level head, because at that point, we're devastated, right?
Yeah, actually, 2 days ago, I had somebody that I've had for 30 years call me. And I just woke up and I have water in my house, kind of one of those. And I'm going, Do you know how to shut off the water at the street? No. Do you have a pair of pliers? Yes. Go out to the front, remove the thing, and then turn it the other way than whatever it is.
Right. Counterclockwise, clockwise.
And then you can go back and examine it. Don't try to examine it while it's still flooding. Stop the problem then.
Yeah, stop the bleeding, as they say, right?
Exactly, Penny. You're right on the money. Stop the bleeding, and then you can go investigate it. But spending 20 minutes trying to find out where it is, it's still coming in your house for that 20 minutes. More damage every second.
That is so true. And a lot of times when they are doing repairs, a lot of times they're doing repairs, with maybe a non-licensed person or a YouTube video. And sometimes that can really cause some havoc, like especially plumbing. I think plumbing is not something that I'm going to YouTube how to do unless it's like maybe change, a faucet. I don't even know. I'm not a big YouTube person. But I know that I feel confident that if something happened, I could probably call you, and you seem to hear all the stories. How many years have you been doing insurance here in Las Vegas?
We're on our 34th year.
Wow.
I started right after I graduated from college. And then I went back to school. I have a degree in insurance. I have a degree from UNLV. And I still do CE credits, even though they're waived for me. I still like learning about stuff because this industry and building materials have changed dramatically in 25 years. I remember when a smoke detector and deadbolt was the best you could get. Now it's carbon monoxide detectors. And to bring your house up to code, excuse me, to bring your house up to code today, you need a carbon monoxide detector that is hardwired. Your house may be too old and never had one. Now you have to have an engineer hardwired in and run it to the circuit breaker board on your breaker panel and tie it in. Therefore, now you need an electrician to tie it in to get an occupancy permit.
I heard something because I know like at Costco and Sam's Club, they sell a fire detector, and it also has the carbon monoxide or whatever, but you really only could use one. You can't use both. Is that correct?
No, you can do both, but when an occupancy permit is issued for somebody to be able to move back into their house, like this gentleman, he has to update his house to today's 2026 building codes. That house was built in 77. I think it was 77 it was built. And
solid house.
Hardwired anything.
Oh.
So he has to have an engineer come in and put in the smoke detectors in the right place, put the carbon monoxide, because he does have gas, in the home also.
Yeah, because 77 they do have gas, but in the older homes they have electric. So I prefer to have a gas stove than an electric stove. So definitely want to have a house built before the 1970s.
Yeah, but you can't get an occupancy permit if an insurance company put it back to the way it was in 77. It won't pass. That's an endorsement that you all might want to write down. It's called building ordinance and law is one of the words, or building code coverage might be another way that a different carrier says it. All it is doing is bringing that 1977 home to 2026 requirements to get an occupancy permit. Because you don't have it, they will give it.
That's very important. So for me, Dawn, I enjoyed the conversation. I know we only have a half hour, but I wanted to give the people an opportunity to know how they can contact you, what's the best way to contact you. So why don't you go ahead and shout out your phone number, how the best way to connect with you, your website, and we can get on the air and be able to share that, through all our social medias. Can you do that for us today?
That works. My name is Dawn Fisler. I insure for you. Best way is telephone is 702-798-0700. 0888, or you can email me at Dawn, D-A-W-N, at IInsureForYou.com. I guarantee you I'm the only Dawn Fisler in the U.S. So if you find my website saying Dawn Fisler on it, that's how you can find me. I'm the only one.
I love that. And you know what? I know everybody's going to have taken something about this conversation. The first thing is, if you have a business, call Dawn. She's going to check to see if you have enough insurance to cover you when stuff goes awry, whatever. And then if you have a car, you know what? You are getting an increase, or maybe you have a new car, give Dawn a call. Let her have the opportunity to see what's the best coverage. Not always the cheapest coverage. I've had cheap insurance. Cheap insurance is not good. You need to have the right insurance. You need to have affordable insurance. So I appreciate you coming on the podcast, The Professionals, Dawn. Me and you have been friends for a little over 3 years. And I just knew that you would be a trusted sponsor. So I appreciate you taking time out. And everybody, if you are looking to check your insurance, you're looking to add your insurance, please give Dawn a call. Go ahead and shout out your phone number one more time and your website. And I want to tell everybody, thank you for coming on the podcast, and have a great day. We'll see you the third Thursday of the month. We are on the 10:15 on the first and third Wednesday every month. You can fix that, right? Go ahead, Dawn. Do one more shout out.
Dawn Fisler, I Insure For You. That's DAWN at IINSURE, the digit 4, the letter U.com.
Perfect. Call her, and we will see you again. Thank you. And again, have a wonderful day. Penny signing off.
The Cause Marketing Chamber of Commerce brings businesses and nonprofit organizations together to create synergistic relationships that benefit the community. Join our tribe to network with community and business partners, increase sales, improve fundraising efforts, differentiate your brand, help worthy nonprofits, and more. Become a member today. Visit our website, causemarketingchamber.com, to see how we can help you grow your business or your nonprofit organization. Click on the Join Now button at causemarketingchamber.com. Help us build a world where social responsibility is the new bottom line. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.